when we become the artists that God created us to be, when we embrace this truth, that we are both works of art and artists at work, we become God's instrument to create a new world, a new earth, a new future.
For me, it's a chance for me to get to connect to God, to Jesus. I feel most connected when I'm singing. I'm fortunate enough to most of the time be worshiping with my husband, and that makes it even better. I feel even more connected to Jesus. It's a really powerful thing.
I feel like I would say, okay, you know when you're on a roller coaster and you go over that first hill and you feel that in your stomach, that exhilaration, that excitement, just in your body and in your bones. To me, that's what the worship experience is.
You also have to think about all of the lives that you're affecting in that moment, and that it's so much more than whatever is going wrong, that like somebody's life and relationship with God is in your hands in that moment. And so it's like having to take into account that every single person is in this moment with you, and it's less about what's going wrong. And like in those moments you have to lead more and perform less and sing less.
I definitely had my moments probably where I enjoyed that attention and that whole thing. But it didn't take long for me to understand, like, whoa, this is, something to check yourself on and something to definitely be aware of. And actually on a tour with that band, I had probably still to this day one of my most intense worship moments actually playing drums for the staff late night. We did our own staff worship for this youth camp that I was a part of. And it was so intense, I quit playing in the middle of this song because I was just so overwhelmed.
I feel like I struggle with being a worshiper and a performer every time I'm on stage, just because you do it so frequently, you have the rehearsals, and you also want to do an excellent job. So it's kind of quieting that voice of perfection. As a person, I want to be excellent, I want to do a really good job. And I think when you're worshiping, your attention, it's a lifestyle, but your attention should always not really be like self-centered. It should kind of be towards God and what he's saying, and like kind of more space. And as a performer, I feel like I'm thinking cues, ad-libs, lyrics. So at times the struggle is how much space do I give myself to just be like in the presence of God.
I made a shift, and it was a little unnatural at first actually, but of really allowing myself to be, I guess, a performer while worshiping. And I think it's weird, I feel like it was a place that I had to be in for that to actually click. I feel like God was like waiting on me to hit a certain level of humility.
We're doing something different at Mosaic. I listen to worship music from all different bands, popular, not popular, gospel, and Mosaic just has something different with their sound. It's not what you hear on the radio.
Being in it and allowing myself to perform, I now do feel like I'm just performing my best for that worship set, and hopefully taking people with me. And sometimes they take me with them though, because people expect, sometimes when I'm on my off days, I can look out and there's particular people, especially in our community, that I look to, that are kind of performing themselves in their worship, on the ground. And I look to them in moments when I'm like, I need someone to feel this right now.
Getting to a specific place where I feel like I am truly worshiping and there's no distractions, and when I feel gratitude come immediately. It kind of overshouts everything I can hear if it's not perfect, or see if they're not engaged. It's like gratitude for this moment and the fact that I'm able to worship God and I'm able to even like hear his voice or feel his presence.
When we sit down and write, we say like, what is our community saying? Like, it's not about us, and like, it is what we believe and what we know to be true. Like, there aren't things that we're seeing in the community that we're like, oh, we're just gonna write about that because that's what other people are feeling. It's like, these are things that it's like a mutual thing that our community is working towards, our community is feeling and is experiencing together. And it's always been like, what are words to describe like the growth in our community? What are words to describe like the things that people in LA struggle with?
They're giving God's voice a new rhythm and a new beat. Their lyrics are so open to such a wide group of people that you know they're talking about Jesus and God, but anyone can listen to that music and feel good. And the lyrics are so abundant in love. It's like, so yeah, they're very unique.
As we sing this, guys, would you stand up and sing one more song with us? I want to encourage you to look at this beautiful view as we sing this. We come to find you, journey to meet you here. We let it all go. And the things that we hold dear, we're safe in your hands. You want your daughters and your